Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Technical Assistance Workshop, sponsored by our Miami-Dade County and Career Source. We're here with our IT committee and about to talk about why every business needs to embrace the cloud. We are going live on Facebook. We're going to give a few moments for everyone to come on in. If you are on Facebook, make sure you go to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce page, share the live stream so that more business owners can understand what cloud computing is and how they can take full advantage of cloud computing. We look forward to having you to join this conversation. This is one of the important conversations as we really talk about technology and how your business can utilize technology to grow, to be more efficient, and to do what you need to do. So we're looking forward for you joining us today. For those that are here on Zoom, you can use the chat function to say hello, say good morning, make any comments, and use the Q&A box if you have any questions. We're going to have our panelists come on. We're going to give another 2 or 3 minutes for everyone to join us, but you can use that Q&A box to join us and ask those questions so you can get answers right here and right now. We have some phenomenal experts here on the call that's taking time out of their day, out of their lives to be here and to engage. So thank you for joining us today. You can access this webinar on our page, www.m-dcc.org/webinar recordings. That's where this webinar will be housed. It also can be on our YouTube page, so you can come back and listen to it. But we encourage you to share this with people now, share on your page, so that other people can get this information. Many times IT is overlooked. Cloud computing is overlooked until you need it. And then by that time, you're probably going to spend a pretty penny trying to get some help. So you want to learn this stuff now so that you can be on the forefront. And when you talk to IT people, you know the language to use. You know exactly what you want when you actually procure the services that you need to expand your business. So that's what we're here today to participate in. I'm looking forward and we're going to get started. I want to first start off by introducing our president from the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, Eric Knowles. Mr. Knowles, you have the floor. Yeah, you're on mute. You gotta
unmute. Let me
unmute
unmute.
yourself.
You would think that we have this down by now as we come on these platforms, and I would say at least half the time we forget to unmute. But I guess we're kind of in the cloud as we do these presentations, you know. And so it's so great to have Dominique and Mr. Andre, Reginald Andre, and our board member, Denard St. Jean. It is great to have everyone here. But as Matt said, as a business, if you're not working in the cloud, even as a private citizen, I've learned a few years ago, if I didn't have my stuff in the cloud, you lose your phone, or you lose. You're trying to change your phone, transfer it over, and if you don't have everything uploaded into the cloud, you're not transferring anything for the most part. So it's a very important conversation. So thank you all for being with us this morning, and those who are joining us, thank you for joining the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce as we bring pertinent information that'll help you grow your business each and every day. So once again, I'm here. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, President Knowles. Again, we want to give a shout out and also support to Miami-Dade County and also Career Source that put together these type of services and these webinars to help business owners to expand and thrive. So after this conversation, we'll talk a little bit more about how you can get a benefit from one-on-one technical assistance to help with layoff aversion for your employees, and also just make sure you have a thriving business so you can create more jobs here in Miami-Dade County, because that's what we want. We want to be able to build your business up so that you have the ability to hire more people and build a generation of people who can feed their family. So I want to thank you very much for being here with us. Make sure you share this information, this webinar. And without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Reginald Andre of ARK Solvers, who since joining the chamber last year has been a phenomenal member and taking advantage of a lot of the resources and also putting on these opportunities. So make sure you look him up on Facebook, ARK Solvers. He's very active and he's leading this discussion along with the rest of our members here. So I'm gonna turn the floor over to Reginald Andre to introduce our amazing other panelists, Dominique and Denard. So Reginald, you have the floor.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Eric and Matthew. As mentioned, cloud computing has been around for a long time, over 20 plus years already. We've been using this in all aspects of our lives, whether it's from your phone system. If you remember a long time ago, we would have analog systems where if you needed to check your voice message at your office, you would have to go to your office. Your email system, now everything is in the cloud. By the touch of your phone, you have access to everything. Data storage, computing power on the computer systems. All of this is now being managed via cloud. And all of this can help your business save a lot of money and become more efficient. So today, the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce IT Committee is here to discuss these benefits and advantages that these technologies have to empower your business. So again, my name is Reginald Andre with ARK Solvers Cybersecurity. And we also have Denard St. Jean from the Dade Institute of Technology and Dominique Webb Baptiste from Web CME. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off to Dominique.
Hi, Reginald. Hi, Denard. And hello, everyone. Thank you for having me as part of the committee. I own a web technology company, and it is along these same lines that we are talking about cloud computing. And like Matt said, Eric said, and Reginald said, we are very reliant on cloud computing. And from a business perspective, you need to know what that is, how it works. And I'm all about educating business owners when it comes to technology, because the more you know, the more informed decisions that you're able to make. And cloud computing is one of those things that, you know, people hear about it, but they don't really know what it is. So I'm going to introduce you to the topic, and then Reginald and Denard are going to take it a step further. I'm going to share my screen because we have a presentation to go along with some of the technical jargon that's going to happen. Okay. So we're going to start off at what is cloud computing. Can you see my screen? Denard, do you see my screen okay?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Perfect. So cloud computing in a simple terminology would be any technology that is delivered over the internet. So that includes your software, hardware, your storage, and your networks. And when we say delivered over the internet and we say cloud, there's nothing happening in space and cloud and air, obviously. Everything is still happening on machines, on servers, but it's just not happening locally. It's happening on a remote server. So where we used to have our big desktop computers and so forth, now everything is happening remotely. Anybody who's had a business in the past 5 years probably doesn't even realize how much easier this cloud computing emergence has made their life. You know, but if you've had a business in the past 10 years or longer, give or take 2 years, you probably really know how much overhead you don't have to deal with when it comes to technology because of cloud computing. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of what it was before and what it is now. And let's see how, and any business owners who have been around for a long time and is not taking full advantage of cloud computing, I really encourage you to reach out to one of us after the webinar and just do an assessment on what it can do for you and how you can take full advantage. So the emergence of the cloud. So the cloud, like Andre said, has been around for quite some time, right? It's been around for many, many years, but it hasn't been fully used for many, many years. It's something that, was very, people were very cynical about it, skeptical, and just not sure how it could possibly work. And, so before the emergence of the cloud, I know I clearly remember, and I'm sure many of you do too, we would sit at a computer and it would be a big desktop computer. And on that computer, you had all your files and all your documents and all your software installed on it. So if you're working on a document and then you're at work and you say, oh, I want to, finish it at home or review it at home, you would email it to yourself. Or if you forgot to email it to yourself, you would have to go back to the office to get it, or, you're just, won't have it. Even software was installed directly on that desktop. So that meant that you would have to get a physical, like a CD, and it would be installed on your desktop, and you would have a license key to use that. So anytime that software needed to be updated, you were in charge and you were responsible for updating that hardware. And as a business, that software. And as a business owner, you had a slew of computers that all had to get the same updates. And if a computer was to malfunction or die, you need new software or new license, because that software was licensed for that specific computer. So, and even so, at the business level, you usually had a wired network and a server that controlled a lot of the processing. And that server needed to be patched, maintained, kept cool. And you probably needed IT on site to do a lot of the management of your computer system. And backing up was another story. It also took a lot of manual labor in order to back up all of your files and information. So that's before the emergence of the cloud. So where are we now? So in this picture, I'm demonstrating some people sitting at a desk, and all of their laptops are connected to what we call the cloud. And when we say the cloud, it's just a remote server. And all the processing and all the heavy lifting is being done on this remote server. So all the communication, and we're able to have such good communication and such performing communication back and forth with the internet because of broadband, how we've evolved when it comes to sending messages to and from remote servers to local. We're able to it's all happening so fast that you don't even realize that, there's an external server doing all of the heavy lifting. So now our laptops are very lightweight. They don't need to have much. They're not doing much. They're connecting to the internet in order to do all of the things that, need to happen for us. All of our files are pretty much stored on the internet. All of our software, is stored on the internet. So, it made our life so much simpler. And we're able to back up data. We're able to communicate, collaborate with our team members, all through this notion of the cloud. So the picture on the right is displaying, what a cloud infrastructure kind of looks like. So what you see here is different applications running, your databases on the cloud, networking on the cloud, computing, storage, all that stuff is sitting in the cloud. And everything around it, your desktop, your tablets, your phones, your servers, everything is connecting to that cloud to get information, to process information. Your computers now are not doing much, but connecting to and sending information, sending questions, sending information, and then receiving back that information. So that's what, this diagram is displaying. So Office 365 is just a great example of cloud computing at its finest, right? I know a lot of people can relate to having Microsoft Office. You used to install it on your computer and you would have access to your Outlook, your PowerPoint, your Microsoft Word, Excel, etc. And it was all locally on your desktop. And that's how it was for many, 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 many years. But now everybody has Office 365, which is a cloud-based, system. It's basically all that we just mentioned, but it is on a remote server. So by having it on a remote server, anything you work on your Office 365 account, as long as you're able to authenticate, you can access that information from anywhere you are. You can collaborate, you can, share files. Similar to Office 365, you have Google Drive. So there are so many, technologies that have now, I don't even know any real legitimate company that is not operating on the cloud. Even with your QuickBooks, it's QuickBooks Online, TurboTax is online. And this is the emergence of the cloud. Everything is just so much easier from a technology point of view, that you're able to access everything and seamlessly install the information that you need. When the tax laws change every year, you don't need to go out physically and buy the new software. You have access to it with a few clicks of a button. If you run out of space on your OneDrive or your Google Drive, $20, you're gonna get another 100 gig. So these things were very manual, not that long ago. I know you guys say, oh, so long ago, but really not that long ago. We used to have to, to add more storage onto a PC was a physical job that people actually went in, took the computer apart, added, bigger storage. And that concept doesn't even exist anymore because of, the notion of the cloud. So here, just highlighting some of the benefits of the cloud. We can access and share files from anywhere. So, being able to collaborate to say who can see what files, is huge. You're saving space on your hard drive. You don't have to worry about having storage on a hard drive because, that's kind of outdated. You're easily able to back up your data, collaborate. All of this technology allows your business to also grow. You're not dealing with hardware and maintenance costs. And at the end of the day, we all know that by not embracing what cloud computing offers, you're really not taking advantage of what technology can do to help you scale your business. So with that being said, I'm gonna pass on the next section of the presentation to Andre, who's gonna get more into details about using the cloud.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dominique, for all of that great information. So now that all of your data is essentially in the cloud, as a cybersecurity expert, I love to educate our clients about what to do to protect the data in the cloud. Because as Dominique said, no longer do you need to have a hard drive on your computer or 2 terabytes or something crazy like that on your computers or a server. Now everything is in the cloud. And now how do you make sure that hackers and cyber criminals do not get that information? So the first thing that you want to do is that whenever you are dealing with a cloud provider, you want to make sure that they're reputable. Obviously, Microsoft, Google, that's the 2 gorillas. Amazon, of course, is there. But even with those type of companies, you still have to do certain things to make sure that your cloud storage and your cloud space is protected. So the first thing I always love to educate is to let our clients know that you must have strong passwords. 9 out of 10 times, the reason why hackers are able to get into someone's system is because that their password is being used in other places. For example, your LinkedIn password is the same as your Bank of America password or your bank password, which is the same as your Microsoft 365 or Google password. So if one of these companies got hacked, the hackers are going to automatically go to other places and try to copy and paste your email address and copy and paste your passwords to see if it's going to work. So by not having a strong password, and I definitely recommend that your password should be different and you shouldn't have the same password for all of these different sites. So of course, now you're probably saying, wait, it's bad enough I have to remember my bank password, my email password, my computer password. Like I can't remember all of these passwords. Well, the cool thing now is that there's something called Password Manager. And you may be familiar with this because Microsoft Edge, which is the browser, or Google Chrome has password managers. And from there, you can, at a convenience, be able to save your username and your passwords there. However, that is not a secure way of storing your passwords. That is a convenient way, but it's not a secure way, because if you give me your computer and give me about 5 minutes, I can break into all of those passwords that is saved in your web browser. That is not a secure way to save your passwords. So what you should do is that you should look into getting what is called a password manager. Now there's there's dozens of them out there, Dashlane being one of them. There's a lot. LastPass is another one. MyGlue is another one. And what these companies do is they store securely all of your passwords. And in that way, whenever it is time for you to go to a website to enter the password, it integrates with your browser and it puts the password in for you. So that way, every website that you have should have a different password, because if that website gets compromised, it doesn't matter that the hacker has that password, because it's not a common password. And even if they went to one of your other sites that they know that you may be using, it wouldn't matter. The second thing that you want to do is, the third thing that you want to do is you want to get a two-form factor authentication. Again, if the world just followed having two-form factor authentication when it comes to anything in the cloud, hackers would be stopped. Now, it's not 100% foolproof. There are ways around it and things like that. But for those of you that don't know, two-form factor is a way where even if the hacker or someone has your password, because they don't have your phone, they're not going to be able to get in. So for example, you go and check your emails, or you go to your banking website or one of your cloud storage websites. You type in your username, you type in your password. Then it sends a 6-digit code to your cell phone, or you have like what is called an authenticator app, and it regenerates every 30 seconds a new 6-digit code. Well, the hacker doesn't know that. The bad guy does not know that, and he's going to be stopped right there. And if anything that you do that has a web login, majority of the major banks now have it. Definitely Microsoft, definitely Google, definitely Amazon, they all now have it. And by default, it's not always on. So you actually now have to go into the settings, look up two-form factor authentication, or also called 2FF, and then you want to then go ahead and enable that. It's a little painful, but at the end, it's going to be so much worth it in the long run. So the next thing, the next topic I'd like to talk about is storing your data in the cloud. Guess what? The fine print in the Microsoft's terms and conditions, they tell you that if you're using OneDrive or SharePoint or one of those type of file storage systems, they actually say in the fine print, we do not back up your data. We are syncing your data, but we are not backing up your data. That means that you are responsible for backing up your data. And at the same time, would you really just want to leave all of your company's information to one company, hoping that something happens? I mean, the chances of something happening to Microsoft are very slim, but there has been cases where the data just disappears and nobody can explain it. And then they go to their fine print legal mumbo jumbo and say, well, we told you, we don't back it up. So what you can do is use third-party companies that will actually integrate with one of these cloud storage applications, and it backs it up to a different server. So that way, if something did happen to where your main data is, it would then be replicated somewhere else, and then you can then start that restore process. And the last thing that you should do now that your data is in the cloud is you should encrypt. Now, and I'm going to go ahead and say that even if your data is locally on your computers, you should encrypt. Because when the data is encrypted, even if a bad guy got it, it's when they try to open it, because they don't have particular softwares and settings on the systems, because they don't have that setting or that software, when they open up that Word document, the Excel spreadsheet, or whatever that sensitive information is, it's going to be zeros and ones. They're not going to be able to open it. So even if someone steals your data, someone bypasses, figures out your password, they go around the two-form factor, even when they hold the data, it's not going to do them any good because they don't have that. So thank you so much for having me, Reginald Andre with ARC Solvers, and we're going to now kick it off to Denard Saint Jean.
Sure. I thank you, Reginald, and then thank you, everyone, from this webinar. It is a pleasure for me to be with you today. My name is Denard Saint Jean, and I'm from Dade Institute of Technology. Dade Institute of Technology, we are an IT training and service. We provide IT services and IT training. If you need to get your IT certification, IT training, okay, we are the place to be. Ms. Dominique, can you put the PowerPoint on, please?
Yes.
Yeah, this presentation is brought to you by the IT committee from the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. And then this is a very good topic that we are talking about today, the cloud computing, or cloud and virtualization. Cloud computing, like, and Reginald and Dominic says it earlier, has been there for a while. Okay, but some people, they've been using cloud computing. They don't even know if they are using cloud computing. But we have, when we have our computer system, we have an on-premise system. When you have your servers at your location, okay, I mean, like your Windows server, Active Directory server, mail server, and a SQL server, whatever type of server that you have, everything is on premise. But when you decide you're not gonna use those servers, those platforms that are on premise, now you decide to move to the cloud. But the difference, okay, there are several differences between the on-premise and the cloud services. Like you see on the screen, there's what we call scalability. Okay, the scalability, it's a way, okay, for you to like to grow in terms of performance or equipment. When you have an on-premise system, when you want to scale, you spend more money. Okay, but when you are on the cloud, you don't need to buy a whole server or two servers, okay, to scale your business. You just purchase what you need. Okay, in other words, you pay for what you use. That's that's the good thing about scalability in cloud computing. It's easier for you to scale your network, okay, with a cloud service, okay, when you have as opposed to an on-premise service. And then the server storage. Okay, for an on-premise, you need a lot of space and storage. Okay, but when you have like a cloud, when you are on the cloud, okay, your server storage is managed and maintained by your CSP, your cloud service provider. You don't have, okay, 5 terabytes if you're not using 5 terabytes. If you need only like 1 terabyte, why you need to purchase a 5 terabyte hard drive? But when you have your own system, you expect, okay, let me get more just in case I need more space. But when you are on the cloud, you get what you want. Like Reginald was saying, data security is very important in cloud computing. As a matter of fact, okay, 10 years ago, that was the biggest fear of most company, okay, before they decide to move to the cloud. Security. Okay, is my data secure? Okay, so if I need my data on time, will I be able to get it? Back in the day, the internet was not that fast. 10, 15 years ago, okay, we didn't have that a big like 100 gig. Now you have like a 1 gig, 1 gig, like bandwidth, okay, from company. You did not have that back in the day. But right now it's easy, okay, for you, okay, to get that kind of speed. But data security in the cloud has always been a big issue. But the good thing is your cloud service providers, that's one of the things that they always guarantee you the best security possible. Can you imagine if you are a small business, you're on a small budget, okay, you're making $300,000 to $500,000 a year, okay, just an example. you can't afford to buy some big security appliance to put on your network. The best way, okay, to use to get access to those appliances, to those hardware, is to use the cloud service where those big company, they get access to those big security appliance, which means you get better security. And then you are always on. They guarantee you 99.9% uptime, which is your server, okay, never goes down because they're I mean, like they have more than one servers available, okay, to provide you the service. And then that's why, okay, you don't need to worry about data loss. Most of the time in your at your office, if your server goes down, okay, most small businesses, they have only one server. If this server goes down, you out of business. But when you're using the cloud, you don't need to worry about this thing because they have different type of stuff. They have different type of recovery that they can use to assure you that you're not going to lose your data. And then on top of that, we have maintenance. When you are a small business, okay, you have like 2-3 servers, you have like 10, 20, okay, 40 computers, okay, accessing those servers. Okay, you need at least one IT guy in staff. If you don't have these IT guys on staff, you will need to sign up with a company like Arc Server or Data Institute of Technology to provide you, okay, with that type of service. But with the cloud, you don't need to worry about this stuff because everything is maintained by the cloud service provider. Next. Yes, okay, for the cloud computing, you have different models that you are using, okay, to get the service that you want. We have the deployment model and the service, okay, models. On the deployment model, you have like the public cloud, the private, and the hybrid cloud. On the service one, you have the IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, and serverless. So they call it PaaS or SaaS. Okay, let's go to the next one to talk about to the next slide to talk about the public model. The public model, okay, the public model is what you use from I mean, like from a company like Amazon Web Service, from Microsoft Azure, from Google Cloud. Okay, for example, like the public model is operated usually by a third party. Okay, like those companies that I just said, they just provide you the resources that you need, like, okay, the servers, the storage, everything is done over the internet. If you need like a SQL server, okay, you don't have to purchase an SQL license from Microsoft. Okay, you can get the service from Azure. You can get the service from, okay, Amazon. Okay, but with the public cloud, this is something that, like it says, that belongs to the public. Okay, it belongs to the public, but it has all the hardware software and any type of infrastructure that you need, okay, to get the service that you need. But right now, the Microsoft Azure is very popular. Amazon, like you know, is the king, and then Google Cloud. Okay, there are other companies like Oracle, like VMware. There are a lot of different companies. There are company like Citrix, for example. Citrix is a company that is located right here. The headquarters is in Fort Lauderdale. They also provide cloud services and virtualization, okay, to companies. Next, please. The private cloud deployment. The private cloud deployment, okay, like the name implies, is private to a specific company. It's not something that belongs to I mean, like to where everybody can get access to it. All right. This is a company, let's say Data Institute of Technology, okay, decide to have their own cloud infrastructure. Okay, we become like a big 100 or a 500 Fortune company. Okay, we need to have access to our own cloud infrastructure. We invest the money, okay, to do that. Okay, the good thing about it, when you have your private cloud, you control, okay, the type of security, you control the type of hardware, you control everything. Okay, so you have complete control of all your infrastructure and services. You decide what to use, what not to use. It's costly. It is more expensive, but okay, so it's more convenient for you. So instead of relying on a public company like Azure or Amazon, okay, to manage your stuff, okay, you have your own infrastructure. That doesn't mean that it's on your premise, but it can be somewhere around the world, okay, around the country, but it is your private, okay, cloud, okay, infrastructure. Next. And then we have like the hybrid cloud. The hybrid cloud is a combination of both private and public. Some companies, okay, they think that, okay, so we're going to invest on the private cloud, but okay, we're not going to fully invest in it. Why? Because we don't have the money, or we don't want to spend the money. Okay, they take a little bit of private and a little bit of, okay, public. It's like you have your child. Okay, you, even though you have the capacity, okay, you say, okay, I don't want to send my child, okay, to a private university, but you decide to pay a private school, okay, for your child to go for elementary school, middle school, and high school. But when your child goes to university, okay, you decide to go to a private university to spend the money. It's like you make a combination of investment. You invest less money, okay, for middle school, high school, okay, and then you spend more money on your child, okay, when your child goes to university. It's the same concept, okay, for your hybrid and your private cloud. It's like a combination of both public and private infrastructure. Okay, next. Now, we have what we call like the cloud service model. Okay, we have like the infrastructure as a service. Okay, this is the most basic thing, okay, in cloud computing. Okay, instead of having everything, okay, on your network, like I said earlier, okay, you have your servers, you have access to your operating system like Windows Server 2012, 2016, or 2019. Okay, you don't need, okay, to have all those things. You can rent space from a cloud service provider for your storage. You can rent space from a cloud service provider to create virtual machines. Those virtual machines will exist on your cloud service provider infrastructure, but you get access to it. But you use it on a pay-as-to-go basis. You don't invest big money to purchase like a server for $3, $5, $10, $15,000, okay, which will cost, you know, a lot of money when you combine 2 to 3 servers, but you just use the infrastructure from another company. As far as the platform as a service, okay, it refers to the cloud computing service that supply an on-demand environment for developing and testing your software application. Okay, like, okay, you are a software developer, right? Okay, you need software to develop, to write your code, to do this, to do that, but you don't need to buy all those expensive software. Okay, you a contract with a CSP or cloud service provider. They provide you what they call with a platform as a service. They provide you a platform where you can do your development, where you can create your website, where you can create your this, your that, but you spend less money. Everything about the cloud is mostly economic. As a small business owner, you're always trying to save money, but to get the best service. Cloud computing is one way you can get the best service and also save money. Cost is the big factor, okay, in cloud computing. And then another thing is, back in the day, one of the things that we use in cloud computing is what we call virtual machines. Virtual machines, company use virtual machines because when you use your computer, you don't really use 100% capacity of your computer. Maximum is 10-20%, okay? But it's like you have a computer, you use 20% of its capacity, but you have 80% available that is not doing anything, which means you are wasting money. But when you rent a cloud service infrastructure, you create virtual machine. Virtual machine is like a machine inside a machine, a computer inside another computer. You have a computer like a big server, okay? You use a technology like VMware or Hyper-V from Microsoft, okay, that allows you to create the virtual machines. These virtual machines that you create use resources from your existing server. And then this virtual machine, okay, it costs you less money to use this virtual machine as opposed to buying like a computer for $1,000 or $1,500, okay, to use for your company. This is one of the things that is, it's all about cost, okay, when you're using cloud, okay, a cloud computing. Okay, the platform as a service, okay, it makes it easier for you as a developer, okay, to create your application, to create your website, to create your mobile app, to create everything. But you, with this access that you have to those infrastructure, where there is server, storage, network, database, like SQL, Oracle, okay, you pay less money to get access to all those good services and infrastructure. Next. Okay, and then you have like software as a service. Software as a service, it's like, okay, let's say for example, okay, you are a member of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, right? And then they give you access to a platform as a member where you can, okay, change your profile, add information, add your picture, add the description of everything. This is what we call a software as a service. Okay, you get access to it online. You go to your, as long as you have a computer and a web browser, you go on the internet, you get access to that software. This software, you don't have to install it on your computer. It's in the cloud. It is somewhere. Once you get a username and a password, you get access to it, and then you can make changes on your profile. You can do a lot of stuff. There are different types of, software as a service platform. For example, if you are a tax preparer, for using for example, TaxWise. TaxWise has two types of software. They have a software that you can install on your computer on premise, and then they also have an online access where you can get access to TaxWise online. This is software as a service. All right, there are different types of, okay, so the software as a service, usually you have it on a subscription basis. You go to that platform, you subscribe, and then you pay a $10, $15, $20 per month, and then you get access to that software. Like Office 365, for example, is a big example of software as a service. Back in the day, when you have your computer, you have to buy a separate copy of Microsoft Office to install on your computer. Right now, not anymore. Okay, you can get access to Office 365 online, where you can get access to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Access everything without installing it on your computer. This is the most widely used, okay, a model, okay, in the cloud. This is the software, okay, as a service. When you have that, you don't need to worry about upgrade. You don't need to worry about, a patching your software. Okay, once you connect to it on the internet, okay, and then boom, you're good to go. Okay, and then software is the serverless computing is usually like overlapping with the platform as a service. Okay, so they have a lot of similarities. Okay, the serverless, okay, computing is when the cloud this is where the cloud provider handles everything from setup, capacity, okay, management, okay, everything, okay, on your architecture. Next. All right. For example, like on when you have like a platform as a service, okay, the platform as a service, okay, the key features, okay, on the platform as a service, you have, I mean, let's make the difference between the on-premises and all those different as a service thing, like on-premise and then infrastructure and then platform and a software. When you have an on-premise system, you manage everything from A to Z, from application, data, the operating system, virtualization, networking, server storage, everything, security, everything. You're the one that managed, okay, from A to Z. okay, you start delegating some tasks to your CSP, your cloud service provider, once you switch to the first level. For example, the infrastructure as a service. The infrastructure as a service, you don't worry about the infrastructure, like the networking, the storage, the server, the cabling on your network. Okay, the virtualization like creating a computer inside of another computer. You don't worry about those things. But what you worry about the operating system. Okay, you need to configure whatever you need. If you have to configure like a group policy, okay, any type of management that is done on the operating system, okay, applications data, you don't want that manage everything. As far when you go higher to the platform as a service, okay, now you don't manage the operating system. The only thing you manage is the applications and the data. Okay, the applications, a platform as a service. Okay, if you have program software that you need to install, you install it on the system. If you have data, you manage the data on the system, because when you get the service from your cloud service provider, the cloud service provider, they manage everything below everything below the data, okay, on that layer that I show you on the screen. But the good thing, the best one is the software as a service. Okay, you don't manage anything at all, starting from the application, data, operating system, server, storage, networking. Everything is managed by your cloud service provider. That's typically what most small businesses are using, okay, from cloud computing. For example, okay, you want to use a Microsoft Office. Do you need to install Microsoft Office on your computer? No, you don't. You have access to it on a web browser, and then the cloud service provider manage everything. There are pros and cons, okay, on the stuff. Okay, the pros on cloud computing is like, okay, no, you reduce your hardware requirement. You don't have the same requirement, okay, to purchase 2 servers, 3 servers, blah, 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 and then to manage to install everything. Okay, it improves your performance and then your availability as well. For example, you have your network. Sometimes you have the server is down, this thing is down, blah, blah, blah. But with the cloud, okay, it's not, okay, it's a 1%. I assure you, you're gonna have 99.9% okay availability. Your accessibility, it's less expensive, and then it also improve on if in case you have a disaster. If something happened, you don't need to worry about, okay, your network engineer going to try to fix this, going to try to fix that. The cloud service provider can handle everything. But the cons, okay, if you don't have good internet, if you don't have high-speed internet, it's going to be tough for you, okay, to use those big benefits. And then what I said earlier, security is still a big factor on the cloud. It's better now than it used to be 15 years ago, okay, but it's still an issue. And then the last thing is you don't have control of your stuff, okay? Sometimes, okay, who knows what could happen? And then your data is somewhere in the cloud, okay, and then you don't have access to that company, blah, 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 and then boom, you might lose your data. Those are the cons, okay, from cloud, okay, from cloud computing. But beside that, we can say it is a really good technology. For example, you have your phone system. Your phone system right now, you don't have to have a PBX on premise. Okay, with the cloud system, you just have your phone and then you plug it on the internet, your voice over IP phone, voice over internet protocol. You just plug it on the internet, on the network, and then boom, they make like some simple configuration, and then your phone is working. Your voicemail is being stored somewhere else in the cloud, and then you can just take this phone, and some companies, they allow you to take this phone and plug it from anywhere. For example, Vonage. Vonage is a cloud phone service. Okay, you can take the telephone from Vonage, you go to any country in the world, you just plug it on the internet, and then boom, your telephone is working with a United States, okay, a number. Thank you. And then I think, do we have any other slides? Okay, that's it. I think, okay,
That's
this
it.
is all we have to say. If you have like questions, guys, and then we're waiting for your questions.
All right. So I want to thank Denard for such an in-depth, detailed understanding of cloud computing, man. Like, well, you have my brain like going. So appreciate that. You're definitely a teacher. And
Thank
also
you.
Dominique and Andre for really providing some very like practical understanding of cloud computing with Microsoft Office and also with passwords and understanding how we can use that with passwords. Like that is phenomenal and definitely things that a lot of business owners need. So we really appreciate you taking the time to really break that information down to us. So want to open the floor for any questions anyone have. Feel free to put those in the chat. At the time, I do want to ask a few questions about cloud computing in general. So give me one moment. So tell me this. What is, now that we have this cloud computing, and what we know of, majority of us as regular civilians, it's not in IT and tech. We think cloud computing, we think of Google Drive and OneDrive and Dropbox.
Gmail.
That's probably as far as we think in terms of cloud computing. And we've been utilizing that for storage. How, now that we have cloud computing, what's the usefulness of having locally stored data when you have cloud computing?
That's a good question. Do any of you guys store any of your data locally? I personally do not. You know, if I'm working on a document locally, that's one thing, but all of my information is managed on the cloud. I speak for myself, Denard, Andre.
Yeah, so basically, you know, I'm still using USB, to store some data. I store some data on my computer, but like you said, I have like a big account with Google Drive, to store my data, you know, on Google Drive. And I also have like, you know, as an IT service provider, I also have like other companies, other platform that I use, and then that I also refer my customers to, you know, to save their data on. Because if you have your data, you know, on a local computer on your office, what about like if you're going away on vacation and then you want to have access, to those data, to those information, unless you already set up some type of remote access, to your computer office, back then, now by then you can get access to it. But other than that, you won't be able to get access to it. That's why it's always a good choice, to choose a platform, to a platform like Google Drive, OneDrive, or any other, you know, drive, to store your data.
That's a good point too. You know, I know there's still many parts of America that are remote and don't have good internet access. So a lot of things that we talked about today, they would really struggle with. You know, there are a massive amount of parts in America that are just still like in the mountainous areas, the wooded areas. The internet is very,
the internet is not that good.
Yeah. So that's
why I'm still using USB.
Yeah.
Okay, it is in USB as a backup. It's some of my very important files, you know, I put them like on the USB or an external hard drive. I have a 5-6 terabyte hard drive that I put, you know, all my information just as a backup, because I don't trust, you know, other people with my stuff 100%. I'm using it, but I'm trying to be kind of, you know, careful, you know, about it, you know.
Yeah, I have a hard drive too, but I haven't touched it in years. Like a, you know, a storage drive. I haven't touched it in years. I'm really grateful not to have to manage that piece. And Andre, I think everything you said about the passwords, very good point on the browser, storing your passwords in the browser. Very common, very practical thing that makes, you know, having complex passwords very easy per application. But you pointed out that that can really not be secure. So that was, you know, an awakening for me, honestly.
Yeah, and also another thing with Matthew's question was that usually companies that are still storing locally, they're doing some type of graphic design or architectural type of, and it's the data is just so big, and they instance. So they'll work on it on the local, and then
Yeah.
when they're done or finalize it or finish the project, it's still being backed up locally, but then that's when they move it to the cloud.
Very good. And then one thing that Reginald said earlier, about security is that is very, very, very important. Okay, when you go to the cloud, is the multi-factor authentication. It is very important, guys, because your phone is always with you. All right. So once you log on, you put your username and password, bim, and then it prompts you to your phone. Okay, to to say, okay, are you really you? And then you say yes or okay, blah blah blah. Them. And then the multi-factor authentication is very important. And then also the encryption of your data. Okay, when you encrypt your data, you're the only one who has the decryption key. Nobody else has it. That doesn't mean it's 100% secure. There's no such thing in technology, 100% secure. Otherwise, people wouldn't be able to hack, okay, NASA or any big government, that processes technology that we don't even have yet. You understand? So there's no such thing that 100% okay secure, but you can have a maximum. Okay, the encryption is good. The multi-factor authentication, okay, is very good too.
So I actually had a horror story with cloud computing. There was a company that when we first came out, I was into technology. So I'm sometimes on the leading edge of that stuff. And one of the first companies come out with cloud computing, we're doing something revolutionary. It's called BitCasa. And they had a private encryption of data, and it was unlimited storage. So I stored a lot of my information on this company, and then they decided to go a different route with their business model.
Yeah.
And they basically kicked us all out. And it took forever to try and get my data off of the cloud server.
Yeah.
So could you talk about the pitfalls of storing everything on the cloud? Because if that company decides to stop, what are you going to do with your data? And then two, one of the key things about cloud computing is that now it's a cost that you got to pay for almost the rest of your life for access to your data. And I'm not too fond of having to pay something literally for longer than my mortgage. So, and if you stop that, now you stop access to all your data. So could you speak to that pitfall, and how do you get around that?
I think for the first issue that you experienced, reputation is absolutely king. Any company you deal with, you have to find a reputable company that has, if you work dealing with an Azure, Amazon, you're not going to have those problems. That would affect the world, right? So, when you mention a company that went out of business, switched directions, that wouldn't happen with Google. It wouldn't happen with an Amazon. It would be catastrophic, for that to happen. And as far as pay as you go, all the subscriptions that you need to have, yes, it is something, right? But as a bit, I know this webinar is geared towards business owners. As business owners, I don't think that, I think that's a small price to pay for what you're getting. If you look at what we used to have to do when it came to hardware, when it came to, computing everything, software installation, maintenance, I think it's a small price to pay. That's my personal opinion. But it's a lot harder for people to digest, especially if they haven't had to deal with what was.
Yeah, I think like Dominic said, okay, dealing with a good, reputable company is the key. Okay, because you don't want to deal with a company that can go out of business overnight. Okay, a company that chases pennies, So you need to deal. It can be, Azure or Amazon or Google or any other big company. But these companies, they have some type of this company they have to provide you some type of assurance if something happens, what you will be able to do. Okay, this company, if this company has like 1 million, 2 million, clients, they cannot go out overnight and decide you won't get access to your data, blah blah blah. Okay, there will be like a big lawsuit. You understand? So a lot of things can happen, but that's why it's always good to do your own research to make sure that you didn't like with a very good company.
Awesome. So my last question before we close out. Well, I have one question after this, but to close out. But Andre, you spoke about having a third-party company that stores your passwords and stores your passwords. Do you think because I know one of the most common things that we as a total civilians do, you go with what's the easiest. So if we got Chrome, we using Google, saving all the passwords. And if you're using your phone, you have Samsung. They have a little a lock thing, and Apple. Are those good recommendations? Because I've always steered away from that because I didn't want to have all my passwords. But is that comparable to the companies that you mentioned?
Yeah. So again, with the Google, so the problem with the Google Chrome, autofill and the actual password manager is that because it's lying in the Windows operating system, basically, if you ever go to click on the settings and then go to password, and if you want to, it lists all of your passwords that you save. It's hiding it at the moment, but the only thing you have to do is click on that little eye, and it's going to ask you for your computer password. And once you enter your computer password, you see all of the passwords. And that's the problem. It's because Windows is so easy to break passwords, hackers are using that avenue to say, if we can figure out Matthew's computer password, we have all of his Chrome passwords. Now, if you compare that to your iPhone or your Android and, like the FaceTime and things like that, that threat is not there at the moment. So that's why even someone like me, I save some passwords and I just look at my phone and it opens it and things like that, because that threat is not as big as the one I'm talking about with the Google or Edge password manager.
Awesome. Okay, that's good. While you was talking, I did exactly what you did and saw. Like, oh my God, yeah. That's crazy. It's really crazy. All right. So as we close out, if you can give some final remarks, and also how do people get in touch? Cloud computing, IT can be pretty difficult. So what are some companies, and if it's your company or yourself, that you believe can help people that needs assistance with cloud computing, with IT services? Feel free to close out and let me know. We'll start with Dominique and then go to Denard and then finish off with Andre.
So my company is WebCMe. We do web technology. So definitely reach out to me if you have any questions, and I can help you out with how to use the cloud best and, for your company. I think from a security point of view, definitely Andre will speak to that. But it's a great technology that we all need to take advantage of. And there are some pitfalls that we need to be aware of, and always work with a technologist to find out the best options for you.
Thank you, Dominique. Nard?
Yes. Basically, I represent Data Institute of Technology. I'm the president and CEO. Okay, what we do, we provide IT services and training. Okay, IT training like, cybersecurity, Microsoft, Cisco, cloud computing. Okay, and then we also help you get all the certification if you would like to get into the IT. Okay, if you would like to get to the IT business, but as a managed service provider, okay, this is where we started before, where we started first. Okay, as a managed service provider, we help companies, set up their network infrastructure, manage their network, and then help them and guide them to the best cloud service provider, okay, for their needs. Okay, that's what we do at Data Institute of Technology.
And so one last nugget I like to give is, if your business is regulated, for example, if you do work with the Department of Defense, if you do work with county government or city governments or any municipality, or financial, you're regulated in the sense because you have to protect that information, and they may say you have to have this type of encryption, or you may have to have this type of procedure. And that's what we specialize in helping that when it comes to making sure that when you get these jobs, that you're in compliance. So kind of like a compliance manager, for lack of better words. So our company is ARC Solvers, ARK Solvers, and you can find us on social media or our website.
Awesome. So I want to thank our IT committee for being such a resource for the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. If you're interested in IT, feel free to join us, the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, and learn more about all of our committees and what we do. We love and appreciate the fact that these business owners who are coming on here can share their insight and their expertise, and they're also available to you to do business. So we want to keep the network, keep the business within the community, our membership. So please make sure you reach out to them if you have any questions. You have websites, Dominique is your person. If you have anything with cybersecurity, IT infrastructure, Andre is your person. If you want to learn about this technology, you want to get certifications, or know someone that needs certifications, or want outside going to college, Denard at Dade Institute of Technology is there for you to teach you and share it. And as you can see, he's very thorough about the information he knows. So with that, I want to do a few things from the chamber. We have quite a bit of resources for business owners. A lot of the information that is shared today, we help one-on-one with pairing you, helping you understand what challenges you are facing, and then provide you with the guidance to help you get your back office together for bookkeeping, financial certifications, business plannings, and you can come out and reach out to us. My name is Matthew Pygott. I'm the Technical Assistance Coordinator for Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. You can go to our website, schedule a meeting at any point in time to learn more. Also, if you want to network, if you want to meet other business owners, if you want to understand the latest information and connect with business owners that's sharing the latest information, latest resources, join our small business meetup every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. It is on Zoom. You can come on, listen in, you can practice your pitch to other business owners, you can engage. It's one of the most powerful things we've done as a chamber is bringing these business owners together on a regular basis so they can share the latest, share their challenges, share their wins, and it's an amazing opportunity to learn and grow with other business owners. So just log on to Zoom whenever. All these events are on our page, www.m-dcc.org/events. So you can check this out. Next week, we have another technical assistance workshop. Again, all these services are co-sponsored by Miami-Dade County and also Career Source, who help to provide opportunities for business owners. And next week, we will have Gary Hartfield, Director of Small Business Development Division for Miami-Dade County, talking about how you can become certified business with Miami-Dade County. It's a multi-billion-dollar institution that procure billions in services. So learn next week how your business can take full advantage of this opportunity.
It's a very good, it will be a very good event.
Awesome, thank you. See, Denard's one of them understands. We've been doing a financial webinar series over the past 3 months. We had one last week before last, on budgeting, forecasting, on financial statements and budgeting and forecasting. And then later this month will be one on managing your cash flow. These are the details that are very important as a business owners. Sometimes we're just so focused on the day-to-day operation of our business that we don't really take an opportunity to look at the clear picture of our business. When you understand your finances, your income, your expenses, your profit margin, you have a very clear point where you can make strategic decisions about your business so they can grow and develop. So make sure you check out our financial webinar series. And also our Women's Business Council, another committee of the chamber, has been doing a series about sharing knowledge between generations. We have local Black women who are millionaires sharing their insights, how they made their first million, money mistakes and successes, money moves they wish they made, and then being in the right room, which is going to be the last one coming up in October. And then our last event in October is going to be our 30th annual Dorothy Baker Golf Classic. This is one of the longest running minority golf tournaments and classics in South Florida. It's going to be at Miami Shores Country Club. It is an amazing opportunity to network, to get exposure, to understand, and be amongst the who's who of South Florida and business here. So we look forward for you to join us. At these events. Learn more at Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. That is what we're here for, is to connect you with the right resource to help you grow and develop your business. So with that, I want to just thank our panelists for being here, and our IT community for doing what they need to do and just being awesome business leaders in their industry. So with that, I want to thank everyone. Please share this. If you want the recording, you can come to our page, m-dcc.org, to learn more. All right, everyone. Y'all take care. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay.